Pokemon Horizons episode 14, Fly Wattrel, just aired and it had Roy catching a new Pokemon finally. The episode begins with Dot trying to investigate the electromagnetic field that hinders the signal to flow smoothly in the ship. She fails to repair it and gets frustrated. Friede, Murdock, and Liko check up on her, but that doesn't really help. It might just be me personally, but I really find Dot's character to be annoying, and she's probably my least favorite out of the main cast at the moment. I do think that she's going to get better as the series progresses, but those are just my thoughts for now. Murdock decides that he's going to cook something for Dot, so he and Liko head out to buy some ingredients. Not long after, Friede is alarmed by Noctowl's scream and goes to check up on it. He notices that there's 7 Magneton around the area and realizes that they must be the reason for the problem experienced on the ship. Charizard fires out a light flamethrower, distracting the Magneton and fixing the ship's communication systems. Meanwhile, Roy and Fuecoco are outside looking for the Wattrel they befriended in the last episode, and they soon find it perched up on a rock. At first they try to keep quiet and observe, and they see Wattrel's flock flying to this tall outpost tower, but the little bird doesn't follow them. Fuecoco gets bored and wanders off, with eventually the curious Fuecoco finding and playing with a Combi around the area, scaring them and causing their queen, Vespiquen, to get mad. So Vespiquen chases after Fuecoco, Roy, and Wattrel, who gets caught up in the situation. They play chase for like 20 seconds until Roy and Fuecoco fall into the water. This is a great way to show how Wattrel would easily fit right into Roy's team immediately. It is here that Roy notices that Wattrel prefers running in the grasslands instead of flapping its wings. Wattrel thinks that Roy wants to battle it, but actually he just wants to give it an Oranberry. Roy asks why he doesn't fly with the flock, but Wattrel just poses and acts cool. Of course, Roy is smart enough to realize that Wattrel is afraid of heights, so he jumps into the water and shows that there's nothing to be afraid of. Wattrel is of course terrified by it and doesn't want to jump in yet. Murdock was really happy that Liko is being friends with Dot, and asks her to be friends with her forever, which Liko of course agrees to. I really like that Murdock is such a nice uncle to Dot, and he is easily one of my favorite characters on the series thus far. Not only is he an uncle to Dot, but quickly he's becoming one for Liko and Roy as well. Murdock and Liko have a fun time together, eating popsicles and shopping for spices, but Murdock is a little bit disappointed that he couldn't get his hands on this one particular spice. I wonder if there's a reason for that being brought up. On the way home, they come across Roy, who's randomly jumping butt first onto this grass cushion that he made so that he can help Wattrel overcome its fear of heights. At first it's too scared to try, but on the second try it takes a leap of faith and jumps off. It falls head first, but still manages to find its footing. Everyone cheers for it, which makes it really happy and blush a little. In the short time that we've had so far, I'm already falling in love with this little guy. Friede on the other hand follows his Magneton, but little does he know that it's leading him to this dark alley where he gets tried by BM. These are Spinel's Pokemon and he instructs him to attack Friede through mini speakers. BM unleashes a Dark Pulse, but good thing that Charizard dodges it. Magneton then uses Zap Cannon as Charizard tries to deflect it with Flamethrower, but BM stops its movements with Psychic, so Zap Cannon hits and paralyzes Charizard. Talk about bad RNG, man, I've been there before. Friede is trying to find where the trainer is, but he couldn't find him. Charizard is now paralyzed and trapped by Psychic, but now BM is preparing a Meteor Beam, which is a base 150 Rock-type move that deals 4 times damage to Charizard. But Friede has some tricks up his sleeve too, and Terrastalizes Charizard. It's actually got a Dark-type Terra, which now takes neutral damage to the incoming Meteor Beam and allows Charizard to be immune to Psychic-type attacks. This was quite the surprise, as most people were thinking that it would be a Dragon-type, me included, and it shocked me when he came in with Dark. I had some conversations after the episode aired on my Discord, and Wolfie came in with a really cool take saying that it could be a reference to an upcoming Dark Terra Charizard card in the TCG, and there was also this Dark Terra-type Charizard toy. After one Dark-type Terra Blast, BM is down, but they both flee back to Spinel. Friede flies home, but along the way he sees Roy, Liko, and Murdock are still with Wattrel. They call it a day for now and head back into the ship. After a conversation at the dining table, they agree to leave for Galar in the morning after Dot takes a couple more checks to make sure that the flying conditions are okay. Meanwhile, Roy stares at the night forest and is trying to think of ways to help Wattrel fly without fear. Conveniently for him, Ludlow just randomly walks around whipping his fishing rod and sparking a wonderful idea in Roy's head. The next day comes and the gang dines on a delicious meal prepared by Murdock, but Roy is too busy making a cardboard picture of Wattrel that's attached to the fishing lure. He and Liko then excitedly go to Wattrel and show it a creative way on how to help it fly. Roy has been such a wholesome figure, and him going out of his way so hard to help what he believes is just a wild Pokemon is just so thoughtful of him. So Wattrel hangs itself by the wings as Roy guides the fishing rod above the water. Liko receives a message from the shop saying that the spices Murdock was looking for earlier are now available, so she heads to the store. Wattrel flaps its wings so hard that it electrocutes the fishing line and breaks it. This leaves Wattrel no choice but to fly on its own without anyone's help. It manages to do so out of survival instinct and is able to fly with his friends up on the outpost. His friends are happy for him and Roy bids it a cheerful goodbye. Roy, although happy for his new made buddy, starts getting a little bit sad because of his parting ways with Wattrel. Wattrel is also saddened by Roy leaving, so it leaps out of the tall tower and flies towards Roy, the highest and longest that it's flown thus far. Murdock hands Roy a Pokeball telling him to go catch Wattrel because it clearly wants him to become its trainer. But then all of a sudden a gust of wind blows Wattrel away, but good thing Roy is really good at throwing Pokeballs and he throws his Pokeball on time to save Wattrel before it falls into the water. Man, that was such a great capture and throw by Roy, and honestly it's one of my favorite captures thrown in the anime ever. The way that it curved in and Roy caught it before it fell into the water was super excellently done. Back to Liko, she finds herself in a similar area where Friede was earlier until a man bumps into her. Turns out that it's actually Spinel, who acts innocent and asks if she's okay. As soon as Liko picks up her phone, she's immediately faced by BEM, who quickly hypnotizes her and Sprigatito. This allows Spinel to steal her beloved pendant in the chillest way possible. We finally get our first non-starter capture, and it's the regional bird. This is expected to be captured by one of the two main protagonists, and honestly after all the bonding that they've done together in the past 2 episodes, I'm really glad that it was Roy who caught it. This episode also brought us a lot of great animation and even more out of Friede, which is always such a great thing to get. We got Murdock also being very amazing and the best uncle in the world award. Spinel is also shown to be an extremely competent antagonist, and not only did he get Liko's pendant with ease, he did it without a team. I have an inkling of a feeling that Amethio is going to be back soon, irritated at Spinel, and that might cause some drama here and there. With that being said, I'm going to be giving this episode an 8 out of 10. I don't know what it was about this episode, but it really felt like a long one, which isn't a bad thing. There were lots of great moments sprinkled throughout, and not a lot of wasted time. I know that last episode wasn't the best, but let's take a look at the next one. As for next week's episode, in the preview trailer we see that Sprigatito is scratching Liko, which I think means that he might still be under BM's control and isn't himself yet. The Rising Volt tacklers are going to go hunt Liko down since she isn't anywhere there yet, and they're all clearly worried about her. We see that Dot is calling Iono, and my bold prediction is that Dot is actually worried about Liko and she's calling in her friend that lives in the city where she was last seen. I think that is a hard thing for Dot to do, but she's doing it nonetheless to save her newfound friend. It's cool to see Wattrel on Fuecoco's head as kind of reference to the bird friend that he gets when he evolves. Overall, next week's episode looks like it's a can't miss event, and I'm pretty excited for it. If you noticed guys, last week I didn't actually make a review for episode 13, and that's honestly because my usual downloader didn't work for it, like that's honest. It's like it knew that it wasn't going to be an interesting episode and decided to not even let me download it. In other news, I also really want to promote my advanced shipping video to you guys. Although it didn't do as well as my Amore shipping one for obvious reasons, I'm proud of it the same, and it features the Pokerap, so it's a must-watch thing. Go ahead and click on my channel and watch that if you haven't yet, and if you have already, thank you so much. In today's episode, we got to see that Roy caught a Wattrel, and it was fun to see. Now that our first non-starter capture is out of the way, my question to you is which Pokemon do you want to be seen caught next, and by which trainer? For me, it'd have to be a Galarian Pokemon, as that's where they're heading after this ordeal is over, which I think is probably going to be by the end of episode 16 or 17. I don't see it lasting that much longer. With that being said, my ideal capture would be as cliche as it sounds, Galarian Ponytail for Liko, of course. I'd totally love to hear your thoughts on that, and make sure to answer the question with hashtag QOTD so I know you're a real one. I'd also like to see the rest of the Rising Volt tacklers with more Pokemon, so hopefully they reveal to us that they actually have more Pokemon than the ones that they've shown so far. Of course, if you made it this far into the video, I want to say that I truly appreciate you. But with that being said, it's been your boy Luap, and I'm out. Peace.